Should you be investing in Flesh and Blood Dynasty? Do you buy boxes, singles, marvels, other amazing looking cards? That's what we're talking about today as we open another case of Flesh and Blood. We are looking at case number 9 for Master Set Madness. Welcome back. We're talking investing today. Should you invest in Old Dynasty here? You know, we're going to have a good conversation. We're going to have a good conversation about it. And to start that off, I will remind you, I'm not a licensed advisor, financial advisor. So take everything you hear with a grain of salt. This is an entertainment channel. We're just having fun. If you're looking for real investment advice, go talk to one of those fancy people who've paid a lot of money so that they can tell you how you should spend your money. Great Bow, starting off with that. Starting off with our regular version of the Great Bow. And so, yeah, got that little thing out of the way. I also want to remind you, or make it clear, we're talking about investing, right? Not flipping. So this conversation is not for those of you who want to buy something, turn it around, make some money tomorrow or in the next hour. That's not what this conversation is about. It's about investing, which means you are holding on to it for a long time. Holding on for a long time. So we're going to get into that. Of course, it's Master Set Madness. We are trying to open a complete set, a complete master set. You can check at the bottom right of the screen. We've got a list of cards we're trying to get today. I'm not going to read them all out because I know that you can read. You can use your brainstorm there and figure it out. And so this investing conversation, let's just start off with what should be kind of step number 1, or the most obvious point. Precision press, cool foil. And that is, don't go beyond your means, right? So before you even think about what is a good investment or not a good investment, or when is a good investment, you really have to first understand, well, what do I actually have available for an investment, right? And so when I say don't go beyond your means, it's not just, ooh, sorry, pause. Surgical extraction, foil majestic, look at that card, followed by a buckler, a shiny buckler. So don't go beyond your means doesn't mean not just, well, I have $100, so I can spend $100, right? It also means that, again, because this is investing, if the money you're considering spending on something, leave no witnesses. Oh man, this could be good, guys. This could be a good box. Right? You're not spending money that you're going to need next month, or that maybe you're not 100% sure you're going to need it next month, but there's a good chance that if something goes wrong, you might need to spend that cash soon. If that's the case, the answer to all this is it doesn't matter whether Dynasty is a good investment or not. You don't have the cash available for it, don't even think about it, right? Just don't stress about it. Don't worry about it. Move on. Or, so not just that, but also if, cardboard is not the first thing you should probably be putting your money into. Again, go and ask one of those really, really fancy, people who know what they're doing and talking about when it comes to investing, but there are a lot of things you should probably invest in first before cardboard. Anyways, that's just saying. So it's in your means, right? And again, the idea behind that too is not just you decide, what's in your means. You've got to figure out, okay, so what amount do I actually have that I want to spend on any sort of investment? We're talking about Flesh and Blood here. And I think it's a good idea to go into the idea or the concept of it, knowing it in advance. Spellfree Tiara, there's our cold foil. And the pulse, I told you, we're going to pause every time we see that foil. It's beautiful. It's not, you don't want to go into it like, I'm thinking about investing. And you have absolutely no idea how much you might want to and or be able to spend, right? So pick that number, figure out that number prior to making a decision on what to get, right? Because it's so tempting sometimes when you think you've found the jackpot you found that perfect Black Friday, Cyber Monday sale that has already happened by the time you're seeing this, probably. And, oh man, the deal was great, and you spent way too much, right? No bueno, no good. Does not work well for you. Because, again, if you don't have the time to wait and to sit, then you're going to be tough out of luck a lot of times. That's the end of box 1. Moving into box 2 here, we did make some progress on our set, for those of you who are paying attention to that. So don't go beyond your means. And I think the second point here, which is really, in my mind, important specifically with TCGs and card games, is don't invest in card games that you don't enjoy, right? And I would say even, not necessarily just card games, but even sets. You know, it's good to, you know, spread it out a little bit, get a little bit of everything, but again, we're playing with paper cards here, and we have no idea what the future is going to hold. Wave of reality will hit at some point, and the reality might be that this game goes on for a long time and boxes go up crazy, like we've seen that happen in different games before. It's also possible that it does the complete opposite and the floor drops out, something happens. There's a million reasons why that could happen, and it doesn't necessarily mean that the game, you know, like the company ruined the game or something. There are circumstances beyond that. And so the reason why you're going to invest into a game and or boxes that you enjoy is because if this goes down to $20 a booster box, $25, something terrible like that, sure, you're going to feel a little bit bad that you lost some money, but it helps a lot if you still enjoy the product, right? If you still like the product, you bought it because you thought it was fun, you believed in it. Sure, it didn't do super well maybe in the future, but if you still like it, I mean, come on. You can't tell me that that's not going to be a better experience than, you know, picking up a game that you just totally hate. You only bought it because you thought you might make some big bucks, then the floor collapsed underneath it, right? It's not worth it. And as we said before, there's so many different games out there. You should be buying and playing in the ones that you like, not the ones that you think are going to make you rich. Long term, right? It's the games that people like and enjoy. Those are the kind of games that are really going to rock and roll and have that long-term investment idea, value. People who want to buy the boxes, enjoy the boxes, right? If you don't have any enjoyment in it, surgical extraction number 2. Look at that, guys. That time the non-foil. If you don't like it, and it seems like most other people you know don't like it, just think about the future, right? If people don't like it now, they're probably not going to be super excited about it when they got to pay 3 times as much, right? Is it going to get that high? I don't know. Anyways, I've talked a lot of general things right here. And so, you know, with Dynasty, I think BIOS Update foil, cool. Then our second foil, come on, those. Come on, where's the variety? I think in general, again, if this is in your means, and for, you know, a lot of you, it's going to be like, yep, that's kind of where I'm at. And then others of you are going to think, come on, this is Master Set Madness. We're talking about way more than that. But I think, you know, it's pretty, ooh, Emperor, there he is. And he's not valuable. He's not valuable. There we go. Bye. Sorry. I'm not bitter about that. I am not bitter about that card. Not at all. Don't tell me otherwise. Anyways, I think you should buy at least 1 box of each set, and you should keep it sealed. Okay? If you like the game, you enjoy Dynasty, at a minimum, if it's in your budget, keep a box sealed. Sure, that might mean, you know, for those of you who are kind of on the lower end of the budget, it might mean you got 1 less box to work with, or $85, $90 less of singles to work with, to play with. But I think it's worth it. I think in the long term, most people, whether or not the investment financial value goes up, I think most people like having that sealed box 10 years down the road, 15 years down the road, 20 years down the road. And chances are, again, as long as the game stays alive, if the game's around that long, you're going to be making some money on it. How much? Who knows? You know, unless they do something crazy like they super reprint this set, which is a possibility. Oh, you Mask of Perdition. Look at that. Cold foil. That's our second cold foil Mask of Perdition. Beautiful, beautiful card. Happy to see that one. Nice. I'm sorry. We just have to pause sometimes, and we got to look at the art and comment on the set that we're collecting. Again, so most people, again, don't open the box if it's an investment. If you open the box, you've lost the investment. Just, we're not going to talk about that too much, but keep it sealed. I know it's difficult. You're talking to the guy. I understand that it's difficult to keep the boxes closed and sealed because I've opened a lot. We're on case 9. Case 9, we're halfway through case 9 here. But as should be pretty clear, like this has actually been 2 pretty good boxes here. I'm not going to complain about this. That cold foil there, a couple surgical extractions, one of them being the rainbow foil. This is good. In general, though, all you got to do is go back and watch the rest of Master Set Madness, and you can see that more often than not, it's probably a good idea to leave that box sealed, let it stay shut. Go back and watch Master Set Madness Uprising too. Just let it be shut. So, in that sense of at least get one box, or if it's for you, you know, you've got a little bit better space financially, at least get one case of Dynasty. I think it's great, you know. I don't think it's a terrible idea to get more than that, as long as you're going to keep it shut, as long as you're going to, you know, have the willpower to not just crack it open sometime when your friends come over and hang out. Hey, do it. I don't think, again, this is why I'm talking about investing. I don't think there's any sort of near-term reason why you should expect Dynasty to go up really high in value. I mean, I think they've done a pretty good job with the print run, keeping it at a nice value. But you know, it seems like there's quite a bit out there, and there's a lot of stores who want to open a lot of singles, and because they're doing well, they're moving. And so, I don't know, it seems like there's plenty of supply in the market. And again, I don't know, unless I maybe missed some sort of Blazing Yori, some sort of announcement or something. You know, with watching how History Pack 1 came about, it seems like reprints and different things are not to be unexpected. They are to be expected. They're probably going to happen. So I don't see any reason why to think that like Dynasty is going to go crazy high anytime soon. And even if it was, again, that would be speculation, and I'd be talking about kind of flipping, not investing. So we're not talking about flipping. I don't think, of course, like basically any other Flesh and Blood set, I don't think you need to go out and buy 10 cases, do anything crazy, try and, you know, unless you're the kind of person who has that sort of financial stability and you're doing that on every set, you know, great. I don't see any reason not to include Dynasty in there. I think Dynasty's fun. I think the fact that it has the Assassin in it, and of course it has some big chase cards, will keep that sealed value. I think it'll keep it pretty decent. And of course it's in this 2.0 version, which is nice. You don't have any first edition unlimited shenanigans, so you can get everything from the same box, which makes Master Set Madness so much easier. Makes it so much easier. No, man. That's why we're not doing Magic, right? That's why we're not doing Magic. One of the reasons. Anyways. But what about singles, right? So boxes, I think they're fine. Again, I don't think you go out of your way. I think you probably can get them for less if you wait a little bit. I think the farther along you get in the product cycle, you get closer to kind of like the next set release. And I think you probably get a little bit better for payday there if you just wait and you're patient. But again, who knows? Nobody really knows what's going to happen with that. For singles, like, you know, a lot of people want to speculate on this single, that single, you know, the big flyers. A lot of people have been excited about all these crazy Marvels and different things, whether that be the Emperor or, oh, Miss Soraya. Soraya, she's the one. She's the one. But even with the Emperor, right, his value is still coming down. Eradicate foil. Ooh, foils everywhere. His value, what was I saw on TCG Player? Down to like 1,200. And it was just, even within a couple days, there were people selling it for 1.4, 1.5K. So that one's continuing to decline in value. Soraya, you know, people have been watching it on TCG Player, kind of hop around, but don't get too excited about those TCG Player prices. And as far as like investing is concerned, what I would love to say yes, buy those really high-end cards, and of course they're going to go up. But here's the problem with it. Here's the problem. To some degree, it doesn't matter how cool the card looks, right? Because there's so many cool cards in Flesh and Blood. And it also, it comes down to like how... Sorry, I saw that. I thought that was going to be something worth talking about. You know, how many cards can have and sustain those really high collectible values? And as we go along here, like, based on what I can tell, it seems like with each set, they're kind of making, you know, they're pushing it a little bit farther, pushing a little bit farther in that collectability and the rarity and the difficulty to get certain cards. I mean, we've got Fableds now that are, you know, alternate art, extended art, full art, Marvel, whatever you want to call it. And then, you know, like, I don't know, they're going to keep going, keep pushing. And the problem and the challenge is that for your average person, okay, so one, your average person is probably not buying all the super valuable cards, like crazy high valuable cards. But even for the ones that do, there's a limit for how many of them they can get. There's a limit for how many of them they can collect. And not just, you know, financially and all that jazz, but there's also a limit kind of like what you're can be interested in and can enjoy. And you can't, if you're an average person, you just can't chase everything. Like, I mean, I'm opening literally 20 cases, 19 if we get it by 19, sending out case 20. But I'm looking at opening 20 cases here, and yet for me, like, there are so many other pieces. Oh, that great bow. That great bow. We've seen a lot of you. A lot of you. You know, even with me opening this much, again, this is a choice, but there's so many other cool things in Flesh and Blood. Ooh, Hyperdriver Cold Foil. That is the last one of those we need. The Blessing of Patience. Like, I can't keep up with all the crazy gold foils and all of the promos and different things. Like, for me, there's just too much to keep up with. And the farther along we get with Flesh and Blood, the worse that gets. And it's cool that there's all these awesome things, but, you know, at some point it's just like, I don't know, it's too much. It's too much to keep. And even for as rare as like the Emperor is, like, you can just see it, not just in Flesh and Blood, but in other games where there's kind of these super rare cards. Like, eventually people move on to the next super rare card. And then your average person who opens up an Emperor Marvel, like, if you give them the choice between, I've opened this card, do I keep it or do I sell it? Do I get that, you know, even if you say $1,000. Your average person who opens it would rather have $1,000 than have that card. And so, a third one in a case, that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. Ridiculously good. We're not doing anything on the legendary level or above, but extractions, here they all are. Wish that had been box one so I could sell some of them a little higher price. Anyway, so think about that with singles, the really high value ones. And, you know, at some point, of course, there is a turning point where it just becomes so rare and there's so many people who are in the game and excited about buying things that, yeah, the price does go up. But I think just like the short term again, I can't see any of those cards doing any crazy climbs. I would see most of them, if not everything in the set, pretty much going down. Command and Conquer seems to be the most stable one. And Soraya, of course, she's had some jumps in price. And but I think it's pretty clear that big jump up to 700 just was the price that people threw it out there for. But nobody wanted it. You know, even with the like 15% off sale on TCG Player the other day. So honestly, I think you can get some of the bigger cards if you wait. Wait a few months, you're going to have a better price point, entry point, if you want to hang on to those long term. I think it's a much safer bet is just getting the boxes, keeping them sealed. And as far as like non-super fancy like cold foils, they're not bad. They're obviously pretty cool, and you shouldn't be able to get them in the future, but you know, they're just not as valuable as they would have been, you know, like the first 3 sets. Kind of that cold foil vibe, as it's really cooled down a little bit. 20 years from now, could be good. Again, though, I don't know if I'd do it right now. I'd probably wait a little bit closer to Heat Seeker, the end of this set and the next set coming out. Maybe even waiting a couple sets from now, just to let Dynasty flush through the system. Let everybody who's open and crack things just get it out there. Let people sell it, push it. A lot of people are going to be trying to dump stuff over the next, I don't know, year or so. Unless, of course, there's some crazy uptick in players next year, which is possible. It is very, very possible. And that could push everything up. But in that sense, it's kind of like, well, why Dynasty over, you know, whatever other set? Like, at that point, everything's going up. But then as far as like these, you know, anything in that pile, just your regular Majestic. It's not a foil. There's nothing special about it. It's not this cool Nitro Mechanoid. Man, we want to see the Marvel version of that one. Like, just these regular ones, just, they're not, I can't at this point say it's a good investment. I could be proven wrong. There may be specific ones that do become good investments long term. I don't think now would be the time to buy them. Wait until the next history pack comes out, or I guess the next one, I don't know, and that pushes down the prices on, you know, whatever cards that do have value right now. Shield Wall, this is our last pack. That's our last pack. No Marvels. We are back on the no Marvel train. Yeah, and I think, you know, especially with these ones too, there's so many different variables that come, and you think of, even just from what you see here with some of the previous cards and some of the power creep that's already starting to happen. If this does match the long-term game, if we hit it, you know, this is around for 15, 20, 30 years more. If we get the Flesh and Blood 30th edition, you know, there's going to be so many other cards that come out, and I have a hard time imagining that it's possible, but I have a hard time imagining that a fair amount of these cards don't have other cards that just kind of creep up above it in power. And yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't invest in any of these things. Buy them if you want to play with them, have fun. Otherwise, don't worry about it. You know, that's what I'm saying. And again, this is just for fun. That's the game. It's for fun. If you want to invest in it, have fun doing it. Invest in things you like. And again, invest with money that you don't need for anything else. So, that's the conversation on it. Thanks again for watching Master Set Madness. This was case number 9. If you haven't been around before, go back, check out all the previous videos for this. We're going to open this Master Set. We're going to try and get it by box 19 so I can send out that free case to somebody, to one of my subscribers, if we get 1,000. So we got some progress to make in both levels, subscribers and on this set. Thanks for watching. We'll check you next time.